Hello, and welcome to the Audacity Factor podcast. My name is Catherine Daw, and I'm your host here, also the founder of our community on Patreon. Please join us there. You can join for free. There are also 2 paid levels where you get all kinds of extra resources to tap into. So I invite you. The QR code is right here, and you all know what to do with that. My question today is, what do we do with ourselves? What do we do when we're in the funk? You know what that funk is. You're in a funk, you don't maybe not sure how you got there, or maybe you are. Maybe you're frustrated with something. Maybe somebody frustrated you, but that's still you being frustrated with something, you being in reaction to something, someone, maybe a combination of those things, circumstances. I know that can be a driver for so many of us, especially when it's kind of the cusp between something that's seems out of our control, but maybe is partially in our control. Our reaction is always within our control. Our frustration is also always within our ability to control. And it's maybe not even controlling it, but it's not breathing life into it. And I say that about so many things, but it's the truth. We can either breathe life into our frustration, or we can breathe life into what it is we really truly want to be feeling. Acceptance is one of those things. Awareness. Well, what part of this do you have any control over? Are there parts you feel that you don't have any control over there? And is that actually true? Is that actually real? You know, in the past, I've stayed in jobs, relationships, when they were way past what I call their expiration dates. And actually, I have a video on that. I think down at the bottom, one of my first podcasts was about the expiration dates and what happens to us when we go beyond those expiration dates. And I'll tell you right now, those expiration dates can come pretty quickly, even after the entrance of something specific. Like I'll say, I was in this really challenging relationship for a decade, but it had expired literally within the first week. So, but this is what happens with us though, is that when we resist what's real and true, then comes the struggle, then comes the frustration, then can come the depression, and a mix of that with anxiety, which I feel like frustration is kind of that push me, pull you of, I know I want to do something about this. I don't feel like I can, or I'm afraid to, or I don't know what it is to do, but you know, you need to do something. And we can then talk ourselves out of it because we feel we're in that don't know or fear. And again, it has to start with a level of awareness of what it is exactly you're frustrated with, what you can do about how you feel about it so that you can get to a place of calm, openness, which then will lead to clarity, which then leads you to possibilities and action steps. Because you gain insights from not allowing whatever the dynamic is to frustrate you or confuse you. I'm not all about the pros and cons list. Y'all can do that and feel like that's helpful. And if it is helpful for you, go for it. That is totally not me, because it seems to take people into analysis paralysis. And you can allow yourself to hang on to that one pro piece to keep you somewhere you don't want to be. And I actually did a video on this as well in regard to my husband's previous car, this Subaru that he had that I absolutely hated. It had one redeeming factor for me, and that was the heated steering wheel. Well, I live in South Carolina. You only need the heated steering wheel like 3 days a year. That's it. So for me, it wasn't enough to hold on to that car because it was horrendously uncomfortable, and it was just a really I really didn't like it, and he's tall and it didn't fit him at all. So, but it can be those things that we can talk ourselves once again back into the beginning of the loop that brings us right back to the frustration. So that's what I feel a pros and cons list can do, not even for you, but to you. Because we can allow it to be our crutch. We can allow it to be our excuses. We can allow it to be our justifications. Okay, well, it's not that bad. I can do it one more day. I can do it one more week. I can do it one more month. And when we've reached the end of being able to convince ourselves of that, it comes down to, okay, I can do this for one more hour. I can do this for one more set of 10 minutes. And and that just drives and fuels our frustration, our anxiety. And now we all know where that leads, and that leads to emotional distress and physical manifestations as well if you do it long enough. Now, I've had both of those things happen. I've developed severe physical symptoms from going beyond these expiration dates for too long and living on that energy of frustration. And, that's that you're constantly fueled by adrenaline, and your frustration, the litany in your head um, it goes beyond even the frustration. It goes on to judgment and anger and aggression, and then powerlessness and all the things, because we are unable to manage when something is finished and we don't know what to do about it. Now, this can really show up in jobs and relationships. Those are the two areas I know for me. I've experienced them fully because I lingered way too long. And a lot of that comes from this overdeveloped sense of loyalty to this one place or one person. For me, and the very first time it happened to me, it was to a person. And it happened to be related to a job, though, as well. So it was kind of a double whammy. And when that person left, then I was still at this job that I didn't want to be in. I only stayed out of an overblown sense of loyalty to her. And then my body went into full manifestation of this trauma. So it took me going to get another job. And as soon as I did that, it went away like that. So our frustration feeds all of these other symptoms, our emotional distress, which can lead to our physical distress. And it's really a matter of being able to be aware of the frustration, and everything is clouding you being able to see any possibilities or options for yourself. So it could be as simple as, you know what, I'm writing a letter and I'm going to, these are the things that I need. If I'm going to stay in this job, if I'm going to stay in this relationship, these are the things that I need. And these are the things that are non-negotiable for me. Even just saying that oftentimes to yourself can help. You say, yes, wait, that is absolutely true. And your body feels the difference. And then you understand and recognize that you are absolutely in control of that. Now, it can seem that your options are difficult. However, you can't see the opportunities until you're on the other side of one of those difficulties. And it's way better to experience the difficulty in standing up for yourself and speaking up for yourself, and the challenge in that, as opposed to continuing the already known challenge and feeding the frustration, the emotional distress, the physical distress with what's already known and something you already know you don't want, and resisting the expiration date of that because it's already expired. And we know what happens when things expire. They start to stink. Then comes the science experiment phase. So how far along are you in that? Are you just getting a whiff of something stinky and you know it's past time to go? or past time to speak up for yourself, stand up for yourself? Are you resisting that? Let me tell you, it is far better for you to stand up for yourself and speak up for yourself. No matter how challenging you believe it is. I know my daughter just recently experienced this. She finally stood up for herself and asked for something. And she said, I didn't realize it was going to be as easy as just asking. So it wasn't as scary as she thought it was going to be. And it opened up opportunities that she had no idea would be there for her. But so many times you don't know until you take that first step. Then the next step shows itself. The next door, the next window, the next threshold you need to cross, whatever that looks like for you, whatever terminology works for you. But it's up to you to not stir the frustration, but allow yourself to recognize that you have every right and every responsibility to speak up for yourself. And you have every right and responsibility to have your needs met and have your desires met. You know, we're taught so much that, you know, we have to do these things that we don't want to do. And not that I'm saying that don't ever do something you don't want to do. I'm not saying that. Although a lot less of doing that would be a lot better for all of us. You know, and it can be a lot about, so much of it is always relational. It's about other people telling you this is the way you have to do it because that's the way they did it. This is the way it works because this is the way it's always worked. We're trained in those things and we're trained not to stand up for ourselves. And really it's for other people's benefits, not for ours. So, and y'all know that I don't believe that sacrificing ourselves will lead us to a life of joy that we want, and health and vibrance, vitality, prosperity. Isn't that what we all want? Well, I guarantee you, being in a place of fear and frustration, emotional symptoms, physical symptoms, struggling way past the expiration dates and resisting them is not the way to get there. So I encourage you, write that email, say those things, not from a place of anger, not from a place of fear, not from a place of aggression, from a place of you honoring yourself and what you need and want in your life. That is totally dependent on you, not on anyone else. So again, write that email, make the call. Do the thing, whatever it is. Ask. Tell. It is all to your benefit. And that's what I'm promoting here on the Audacity Factor is courage, responsibility, taking full responsibility for your life, knowing that your choices are your own and they're always there for you. Our choices are for us, not against us. Making aligned choices that stem from your integrity, from your desires, from however it is you want to feel in your life. That's what I'm peddling here at the Audacity Factor. Please join me on Patreon. I would love to see you there. There are so many resources available for you. And as the community grows, there will even be more. So I will see you all in the next video.